aka the Business Fixer. So today we are talking about how to review your business performance. This is such an important part because often in our businesses we are literally doing all the doing. We are, doing the client delivery, we're doing the sales conversations, we are, trying to just keep the business ticking over. But the question I have is the business actually heading in the direction that you had envisaged? Is it actually heading towards that vision that you have? Are you actually on target to hit those goals? So today, that is literally what I'm going to be talking about. Too many literally said there, but I'm going to talk to you about how you can do a mid-year business performance review that actually is going to help you move the needle. It's time to lift the bonnet on your business and take a proper, honest look at what's actually happening in your business. Okay, it's really important to stop, to check what's working, what's not, and what needs to change before you get to the end of 2025, right? Now, this is more than just a quick progress check. It's a mid-year business performance review. And if it's done properly, if it gives you a clear, structured look at where your business is today and what it needs to perform better, okay? Now, we structure every review around our 5 pillars within the Business Fixer Toolkit: business planning, financials, marketing, sales, and leadership and mindset. Okay, so we're going to just start taking a look in terms of what are the things we're reviewing here. So most business owners only really ever write a business plan once, usually when they start out, and this just stays in a drawer gathering dust. But if you use my structure, the business growth plan, it is actually a working document that you are using. Okay, so first of all, if you already have a plan in place, check whether your current actions and results are aligned with what you have set out to achieve. If you're off course, try and work out why. Have things changed in the market? Have you taken on work that's pulled you in different directions? Have you spent too much time reacting to urgent problems rather than working towards bigger strategic goals? Now, if you don't have a plan or even any set goals, then the first thing you need to do is stop and get clear on where you're heading. You need direction. It's not just about the activity. You need to have a direction as to where you are headed within your business. Next, review your offers. Do they solve the problems your dream clients are facing right now? Are they still relevant and useful? Are you pricing based on the value and the transformation you bring, or are you undervaluing your work because you're afraid to charge more? If something doesn't feel aligned, it's not about dropping it entirely. It's about refining it to make sure it's still doing the job it was designed to do. Your offers should exist to help your ideal client solve real problems. That's the benchmark, okay? Next, be clear about what success looks like for you in the next 6 months. Choose 2 or 3 priorities you want to achieve by the end of the year and make sure your time and resources are set up to support them. Your business growth plan doesn't need to be complicated, but it needs to be current and intentional. Now let's review your financials. Do you know your numbers? So whether your bank balance is looking healthy or low, one thing is true for most business owners: they're scared of their numbers. Not because they don't care, but because they don't fully understand them. And if this is you, you are not alone. The fear usually comes from uncertainty. You see money in the account, but you don't really know how much of it is yours to spend, or you feel like you're working non-stop but can't explain why the cash isn't at the level it should be. Now it's time to check your revenue against your original targets and see how far off or ahead you might be. More importantly, look at the profit. If you're earning well but keeping very little, there's a problem. Review your margins for each service or client type and see where the best profit is coming from. Are there clients who take up far too much time or for too little return? Are you still charging the same prices you were a year ago, even though your costs have gone up? Look at your expenses over the last 3 months and get an honest perspective about what's essential and what's just habit. Over time, businesses pick up extra tools, subscriptions, freelancers, or delivery costs that slowly eat into your profit. What can be trimmed or changed? Your numbers will give you the truth. Once you understand them, you can use them to make better informed decisions, stop the unnecessary spending, and confidently plan ahead. By doing your mid-business performance review, you will finally get the clarity, not the confusion. Okay, next thing to consider, your marketing. Making sure it's strategic, not sporadic. Okay, so marketing is often one of the areas that is one of the first things to slide when things get busy. You start the year strong, you're posting regularly and you're following up with your leads, but by the middle of the year, you're either invisible or you're sending out the odd bit of content without any really real thought behind it. So what I want you to do first is start by reviewing what's actually worked so far this year. Think about the last 10 or so leads you've had. Where did they come from? What platform did they find you on? What made them inquire? If you don't know, that's your first job. You cannot improve what you are not tracking. Next, look at your messaging. Go back to your website, your social posts, and your email campaigns. Are you speaking to the clients you really want to work with? Has your ideal client changed over the last 6 months? Are you clearly explaining the problems you solve and showing the value of what you offer? If your content feels generic or inconsistent, you're likely missing out on opportunities from people who simply don't understand how you can help. You don't need to be on every platform or to be shouting the loudest. You just need a simple, clear plan that shows up in the right places, saying the right things to the right people consistently. That's what builds trust and drives your leads. Okay. Now, let's talk about turning inquiries into clients with a consistent process. If marketing is what brings people to your door, it's your sales process that gets them to walk through it. This is where many businesses are slipping. When you're busy on delivery, it's easy to let follow-up slide. You'll tell yourself you'll respond later or assume someone else who hasn't replied just isn't interested. And this is a big one. This drives me mad when I'm speaking to clients because they make assumptions, right? And my ex-husband had a brilliant quote that I love, and that is, assumptions are the mother of all F-ups, right? Okay, so don't assume anything until they have directly told you it's a no or a not now. Then you keep following up until you get an answer. The only time that I would say that you stop following up, other than in that situation, is if you realize that they are not your ideal client and they aren't actually who you want to be working with. In that case, you just keep them in your email list and you're not going to be actively following up. But generally speaking, until you get an actual active no, just keep going. And I know that this sometimes it can be frustrating being that persistent. And I'll give you a prime example where I had somebody who had clicked on one of my Facebook ads probably 2 or 3 years ago now, right? And I had consistently kept following up, and a lot of the time I got ignored, didn't get an answer on the phone call. And I managed to finally touch base with him. I think it was a few months ago, actually. And he said, Sarah, thank you for being persistent, because I know that I don't always get the chance to answer the phone, but keep being persistent. Now, he wasn't ready then, and I had another conversation with him recently, and he's still not ready. But what we did have was a really good conversation. And he said, Sarah, just keep being persistent with me, right? Because persistence works. If they really don't want to work with you, they will tell you it straight. So don't stop with those follow-ups, right? Next, start by looking at the number of inquiries you've received in the last few months. How many of them were actually followed up properly? And what does followed up actually mean in your business? Now, I've said to you now the importance of following up, right? If you only send a single email and then it's silence and you don't do anything more, That's not a follow-up process. That's a missed opportunity. Ask yourself how many of your inquiries have actually converted. Do you know why people said yes or no? Have you asked for feedback from those who've walked away? This is a big thing that I've had this time and time again, where people don't ask that simple question of, okay, if you've gone elsewhere, would you mind actually telling me what made that decision? Now, sometimes that is based on price. And if it is based on price, the fundamental I would say there is you have not demonstrated enough of the value in which you provide to pay the price in which you charge. That's the reason why they've gone elsewhere. The alternative reason is they are not your ideal client, and they are all they're interested in is basically the cheapest deal that they can get. That, again, not your ideal client, and in actual fact, that's a blessing in disguise that they've gone elsewhere, right? You also need to look at how long it takes someone to go from first contact to a decision. If people are stalling, you might not be giving them everything they need to say yes. Is it clear what happens next? Do you explain the value of your offer in a way that connects with their problem? Are you comfortable handling objections, or do you avoid talking about pricing? Pricing is always a big thing that comes up in a number of different ways. Many issues in sales come down to inconsistency. A simple, repeatable sales process can fix that. Make sure you're qualifying leads early, having meaningful sales calls that go deep into the problem, and clearly showing the transformation your service delivers. Be clear on the next steps, then follow up. Do you see a pattern here? Follow up, follow up, follow up. Like I said, the art is in the follow-up, whether it's booking the initial call, whether it's checking in after the proposal. Consistency is what builds trust. It's not about being pushy, and this is a big mistake that people think, is the fact that because you're calling on a regular basis, it means that you are being pushy. It's not. It's just about helping the right people make the right decision with confidence, and doing that with professionalism and purpose. Next. Leadership and mindset. Step back and take stock, right? Look at how you're leading, not just your team, but yourself. It's the first half of if the first half of this year has felt heavy, overwhelming, or directionless, this is where you'll feel it most. Start by asking whether you've been running the business or whether it's been running you. Are you working on growth and direction, or spending most of your time on delivery, admin, and putting out those fires? When was the last time you sat down to think, plan, or reflect without interruptions? Look at your habits. If you are constantly firefighting, it's likely that your systems, time management, or support structure need to change. That might mean delegating more, saying no to non-essential work, or creating boundaries in your calendar so you have that time for high level thinking. As a leader, you need to be doing the high level thinking. You are the visionary, right? You are not responsible for doing the doing. That's what you have a team for. Leadership isn't about having all the answers either. It's about making space to ask the right questions and staying connected to your goals. The second half of your year will only be better if you make intentional changes now, and that starts with your mindset. So what next, right? If you really want to go deep in terms of checking the health of your business, reviewing each of these 5 areas is not just a reflective exercise. It's bringing the clarity, control, and direction. And the goal is not to fix everything overnight, but to understand where the business stands and where your focus is needing to be next. With that insight, the second half of the year can be approached with confidence and purpose. Now, if you are unclear as to where you should be focusing, right, or where to begin in doing this review, I've created the Business Performance Health Check. It's a really powerful first step, and it can be used at any point in the year to assess the progress and pinpoint what needs attention, right? So if you want to really understand what is happening under the bonnet, and you want access to the Business Performance Health Check so that you get that structured way to review your business across all of these 5 areas, and then the next thing you need to do is just comment the word SCORE and I will give you access to it. It will provide you a simple score in each section, along with practical recommendations based on where things stand right now. This is not a tick box exercise. It really is about understanding what is performing, what's not, and what needs to change. Okay. Now, once you've got that review, if you would like to have a conversation about it, then make sure you book a business performance review call too to go through the results, right? The second half of your year starts now. Let's fix what's holding the business back and start by doing your mid-year business review. Do that by making sure that you put the word score, and I'll give you access to the business performance health check. Hope you found today really helpful, and I will see you again next week. Take care, everyone, and hope you enjoy this gorgeous weather.